All right. Okay. Let us remember presence of God. Ô Saint-Esprit, Paraclet divin, Père des pauvres, consolateur des affligés et sanctificateur des âmes, nous voici prosternés dans votre présence. Nous vous adorons avec une soumission totale et nous répétons avec les séraphins auprès de votre trône, vous êtes le Saint-Esprit. Vous avez rempli l'âme de Marie avec toute votre grâce, ces grâces immenses, et vous avez enflammé les cœurs des apôtres et de tout le monde dans cette salle. Aujourd'hui, ce lundi, le 28 septembre 2020, allumez nos cœurs avec votre amour. Saint John Baptist de La Salle. Lift Jesus in our hearts. All right. Okay, take a couple seconds to turn in the geoculture worksheet. Okay, some of you guys haven't turned that in yet. That was due this morning. So let's please turn that in. Okay, unless you've talked to me about it because you were absent last Thursday. Okay, so take a moment to do that. And then we're going to watch a video on French accents. Right? What are those weird shapes, right? And sometimes dots, right, over certain letters? What do they mean? How do they affect certain words? Okay, we're going to watch a video on that. Then we're going to take some notes on that, on the accents. And then we're going to learn some new phrases and some new vocabulary terms. Okay, and then we'll be done. You'll have a few minutes left in the class, right, to catch up on your other classes' assignments, right, homework, all of that stuff. Okay, let's take a look. If I can get this to work. Okay. Make sure we put our iPads down for this. Okay. When I was learning French in elementary school, the accents for some reason were the main things that got me when I was trying to spell things, right? Forgetting the accent or not remembering which accent I had to put on top of this letter. Okay, so it can be a tedious and confusing thing, right? But for some reason, some people, the accents come naturally. Okay, so we'll see what type of person that you are. Okay, all right, that's what we're gonna mainly focus on today. So let's get out our chapter 1 notes. Les accents. All right, and this is directly from the textbook, okay, on page 22. So if you have the textbook with you, right, if you have it, I would also suggest opening that up as well. Right? But if you're okay with just taking notes and looking at the textbook up here, right, then you can do that. Okay, everyone ready? Okay. And the textbook I like because they try to tell you the similar sound, right, of the accent to a similar sound in English. So you can see here for the first one, right, the accent aigu, right, the tick mark going up, right, they're telling you that normally E, right, in French is pronounced E, but in this case, when you add the accent aigu, right, the tick mark going up, right, you pronounce it similar to the word A in the English, okay? For example, right, éléphant, right, éléphant, right, similar to the sound of the letter A in English, okay? Éléphant. Make sure you know the names of these accents, right? I just drew the first accent we talked about, right? The tick mark on the up, right? That's aigu. That's what that's called. The accent aigu. Okay, again, in your notes, write down, right? You pronounce it similar to the letter A in English, right? Éléphant. 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 Right? If you have to say, right? If you actually have to say the letter A, right? Éléphant, éléphant, right? That's okay. That sounds pretty good. It's very close to the actual French, right? Éléphant. Sénégal. Sénégal. Okay, that's the aigu. Right? A common mistake that people make when they're learning French is they confuse these two accents. The aigu and the accent grave. Right? This accent does go the exact other way from the first one. This goes the other way. Aigu, accent grave. Now, there'll be exercises where you're going to have to write out these accents. It's important that you actually make the part clearly see what you're doing. You can't just do this, right? And then I have to kind of guess which accent you're trying to use. Okay? It has to go either up or it has to go down. Aigu and up. For example, zèbre. Right? You can see here, like it tells us in the book, try to pronounce the E like the E in the English word jet. Okay? Jet. So if you need to write that down in your notes, right, write it down. Right? The accent grave tells you to pronounce the E in French, right, like the E in the English word jet. Zebra, jet. Jet. Okay? That's the accent grave. Okay? For example, like this, that does not change the sound that it makes. Right? That's just to tell people that, oh, we're talking about this specific word. Because there are words that are spelled exactly the same, and the only thing that makes them different is that they have an accent. Okay? So remember, in your notes, write that down. When the accent grave is over a letter that's not E, the letter A, it does not change the way it's said. It's just to remind us that we're talking about a specific word. So as to not to confuse it for another word that is spelled exactly the same way. Right? Remember the example they gave us in our video. Ooh and ooh. Okay? This one means or, this one means where. Like spelled exactly the same. The only difference is this one is an accent. Because of that accent, it's a completely different word. But it's pronounced the same. Who, or where. Okay? That's what that accent, the accent grave, does on letters that are not E. It makes it into another word. It does not change. The only thing is the pronunciation when it's over the letter E. Okay? That's the accent grave. Let's listen to that. Right? Ooh, ah. If that accent wasn't there, right, they would still be pronounced that way, right? Ooh and ah, right? But the meaning of those words would be different. Okay? All right, and then you have the accent circonflexe. Remember, this is just that historical marker that we're talking about. Oh, wait. This is the word for forest in French today. It used to be like that, just like in the English, forest. When French was revised in the 18th century, they took some letters away, and to tell us that they took some letters away, they came up with this accent. So whenever you see the accent circumflex, the little cat accent, that means that there used to be a letter, another letter next to it before they changed the French language. Right? That's it. It doesn't change the sound. You don't pronounce it differently. Right? It's just a historical marker. Right? And usually it has to do with the letter S. Usually. Usually when you see the accent circumflex, it means they took the letter S out. Like in the word hotel. Right? Hotel used to be hostel. Right? Same thing with hôpital. Used to be hospital. Right? The accent circonflexe. Let me write that down. Circonflexe. Let's listen to some of these words. Okay. I'm going to tell you what these words mean, and you're going to write them down, okay? The first one, actually, one doesn't really have. Well, the first word doesn't really have a translation. It's just a type of French fruit. Right? But literally, pâté that you can eat, a liver that you can eat. At fourré, we have that. Remember that's the forest. Île equals island. And obviously, hôtel is hotel. The last one, flute is flute. Right? Very similar words, right, to English. The spelling and the way they're said, right, are cognates. Most of these, right? Forêt, île, hôtel, flute. Right? Forêt is forest. Île is island. Hôtel is hotel. Flute is flute. Right? A flute, like the musical instrument. Right? These are all cognates. Part of the reason why they changed the spelling in the 18th century, right, was because English was influenced by French. Right? Hence, some of the words are the same. Right? The French didn't like that there was some similarities between English and French words, right? So they took out some letters, right? Like, for example, in forest or in île, right? In the English word is, you can say isle too, right? Like the isle. All right, the last accent. You have the tréma. Those two little dots. Very common in the German language, but it's also in French. Tréma. And that one, right, in French, remember, it's all about making the word or making phrases sound better to French people, right? The tréma for French people helps us do that, right? It helps a person make the word flow, right? For example, Noël, right? Christmas, that's the French word for Christmas. Noël, right? If the tréma wasn't there, Noël in French would be Nol, Nol, right? That doesn't sound good to a French person, right? Noël, right, sounds better. Noël. Hence, you add the tréma. Same thing with the country of Haiti, right, which is pronounced A-E-T, Haïti, right, in French, Haïti. Right? If the tréma wasn't there, it'd be Haiti, Haiti. Instead, you add the accent, and it makes it Haiti, Haiti. Haiti. Noël, right? You should know. If you don't know what Noël means in French, you write it down. Or Christmas. And then make sure you know that Haiti is a country, right? Country in the Caribbean. Right? Haiti, Haiti. Noel, Christmas. Haiti, a country. Right? Haiti. All right, so again, the main French accents. The aigu, big mark going up, l'accent grave, going down, the circonflex, the little hat, and then the tréma. And obviously, we should already know, because we've been introduced to it before, the city, the city. Right? The city. Remember, that just makes that C soft. Instead of ka, makes it sa. That's all it does. For example, in Sahara, Sahara, if that accent was there, if the city wasn't there, it'd be Tama. The cedi makes the C like an S, right? Soft. For example, just like this word, right? French in French, français. If this wasn't here, it'd be franquais, right? Franquais. The cedi makes it soft. Français, right? Ça. Français. Just like the one of the most common French boys' name in French is François, right? Francis, François. It also has the cedi, right? François. Okay, make sure you have the names, right, and you know what these accents look like. It's going to take some time for you to memorize them, for you to get used to them, but you will have to memorize them, right? There's no other way around that. You just have to know them. Okay? The accent aigu, accent grave, accent circonflexe, the cedi, and the tréma. Okay, now let's take a look at these. Right? What's up? Yeah, go ahead. All right, give me a quick second here. Da-da-da. Pull that up. Okay. Okay. These are phrases to allow them to ask how things are spelled. Okay. How things are spelled. There's two different ways to say this. Okay. Comment ça s'écrit? Comment tu écris? Okay. This is either how do you write this word? How do you spell this word? But they both mean the same thing in Christ. And by that I mean we want you to say the letters that the word is spelled with. Right? For example, they're right here again. Comment ça s'écrit zèbre? How do you write zèbre? Comment tu écris zèbre? How do you spell zèbre? Two different ways to say it, but they mean the same thing. They're just asking you how to spell the French word for zebra. That's what zèbre is. So the response would be the following. Ça s'écrit Z-E, accent grave, B-R-E. You see here, you have to tell them as you're spelling it that there is an accent in here, as you can see up there. It's going L, and it's the accent grave. Whenever you're spelling a word, if, for example, the accent is accent grave and it's on top of the E, like you say what type of accent it is after you say the letter, as you can see here. Ça s'écrit Z-E, accent grave, B-R-E. Okay. So make sure you make a note of that. Right? When you're spelling a word, right, you have to say what type of accent it is after a specific letter. In our case, it's E. It's on top of the E, but when you spell it, you don't say, oh, it's on top of the E. You say it right afterwards, just like that. That's like that's on top. Okay? So again, make sure you know that these two different phrases mean the same thing. How do you spell that? How do you write that? Comment ça s'écrit? Comment tu épelles? Alex, can you say this first one for us? Comment ça s'écrit? There you go. Good. Comment ça s'écrit? Okay. Greg, can you say this next one for us? Comment tu épelles? Comment tu épelles? You take a look at épelle, just like imagine that it's like how you spell, right? How do you spell the backwards in French? Comment tu épelles? Comment tu épelles? Right, and remember, this is the French word for zebra. Zèbre. Zèbre. Right, zebra. Right. You don't have to write this down, right? It's just another example, right? This time they're asking us, how do you spell like français? Response is ça s'écrit Same thing. Okay, hang on. Okay, now we're going to learn some terms that have to do with email. Okay. For example, the word right, for this symbol in French, it's arroba. 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 Okay, so for example, if you want to spell this really long email, you need to make sure that you know how to say this symbol in French. Arroba. Okay. Just write down that term, for this slide, right? Arrobas. Arrobas equals arrobas. Sarah, can you say this term for us? Arrobas. There you go. Arrobas. Okay, now, if you have a sheet of paper, please get it out. Okay, a blank sheet of paper. Une feuille de papier. Une feuille de papier. Make sure you write your name on it. Okay, please write your name on it. Okay, on your sheet of paper, in 1 to 2 sentences, just write down what you learned about French accents today.